Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Historic Preservation Review Board regular meeting. This is a citizen board appointed by the Town Council to interpret and uphold the Historic Preservation Ordinance. Our aim on the board is to provide a positive bridge between the property owners of the district and the design review process. So welcome to today's meeting. If you would, when you come up, just let us have your name and address so that we can have that in the record. And staff will do a brief summary of your project before we actually get to you when you're called. Just a little warning there. So roll call.
Mr. Boyd? Mrs. Hartshorn?
Here.
Mrs. White?
Here.
Mr. Geisler?
Here. All right, approval of minutes. And of course, I don't know if we have a quorum for all of these minutes or not.
I think we do.
We do? Okay.
Caleb abstained in one of them, and I think everybody else was here.
Okay. The October 26, 2022 special called meeting, does anyone have any questions or changes with regard to those minutes?
I do not. I do not.
All right, why don't we just barrel through them here. The November 30th, 2022 special called meeting, any changes or questions regarding those minutes? All right, and the December 7, 2022 regular meeting, any changes or questions regarding those minutes? All right, is there a motion to approve those three sets of minutes as submitted?
I'll move that we approve the three sets of minutes as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call.
Mrs. Hartshorn?
Aye.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
And Mr. Geisler?
Aye. All right, certificate of appropriateness, Abingdon United Methodist Church.
All right. And Gabe is actually out sick today, so.
Hope he doesn't have COVID. He does.
So we'll,
Everybody does
I know,
now.
everybody does right now. So we'll,
Ah.
I'll try, bear with me because I am just filling in for his space tonight. So, the case you have before me, Glenn Patterson, Associate Pastor for Abingdon United Methodist Church, has requested approval of a certificate of appropriateness for a metal exterior stair railing. The property is located at 101 East Main Street. We'll go through the packet photos. The background is that in 1883, trustees of the Methodist Episcopal Church South bought lots 7 and 8 from Henry Sinon. Construction on the church began in 1883. A 2-story frame parsonage was built to the east side of the church by 1890, but was torn down in 1954. A brick annex was added behind the sanctuary in 1914. In 1952, a new brick educational wing was constructed, taking the place of 2 existing structures at the time. So the staff findings, the applicant is proposing to install a metal railing to act as a central handrail for the exterior stairs, leading to a pair of front doors facing East Main Street into the 1883 section of the church. The metal railing will consist of a 2-inch tubing with round caps and an antique finish. Upon visiting the site, staff observed the 2 sets of existing metal railings associated with the exterior stairs leading into the 1883 church. Section of the church consists of tubing and have round caps. The railings have a dull finish, most likely from years of weathering. So in this picture that's on the screen, the 2 existing railings are different. The plates anchoring the railing posts to the brick floors are different sizes. The plates associated with the railings leading into the vestibule are smaller in diameter compared to the ones associated with the railings leading into the tower. So you'll see here, the first one is the anchor plates associated with the railings leading into the vestibule, and then here are the anchor plates associated with the railing leading into the tower. Down here you see the construction between the posts and the railing caps differ as well. And when you're looking at the railing leading into the vestibule, the connection between the posts and the end cap is round, where the top of the post terminates into the end cap. The connection between the posts and the end cap associated with the railing leading into the tower is tapered in the middle. So it's very subtle, but you can see here that there's 2 different types of railings. So there is a photo here that Gabe added to the document to show you which sections were added at different times. So here's the 1883 section, the 1914 section, and then the 1952 section of the building. So with that, if the applicant is here, they may want to present additional details.
Welcome.
What led us to want to do this is that we have a safety issue. We found that, yeah, thank you. When our members are exiting through the double doors, the doors open outward and they're having to actually
Oh, lean out to get to it.
into space, yeah. We've had some near falls. I talked to Gabe about relocating one of these to the middle, and he said that we couldn't do that because of code. We still have to have the two on the outsides. So our only choice is to add one to the center. We've located a brass works company that can replicate the size of the tubing. They can replicate the round caps, and they offer a number of finishes. One of them is a dark antique finish. The color of the handrails now is, there you go. It's a patina. The one second from your left is the dark, and it looks like it's a pretty good match for the current rails, which I think are brass, and it's just, the patina is so dark, there's no way to get that patina off.
Are the current rails at the church brass?
I think so.
That's what he's saying now.
I think so.
You think
Yeah.
they're just dark?
And this new material is brass also? It
It
just
is.
has that, well, then it'll probably work out to be the same in a few
Yeah.
decades.
It looks like a really close
It
match.
does.
What is the, which one of these, it says in here that you have two
Mhm.
different kinds.
It's-
What are you going with? The
Oh.
1883 or the,
Well, they're both in the 1883 section. There
right,
are
but they're
two-
different.
They're two double doors. Well, they are subtly different.
Okay, so have you
Um,
decided how to do it?
Well, the one that we're going to go to is the one that leading into the vestibule. It's the simpler rail. It has the straight rod on its picture that you were looking at before.
Oh, it doesn't taper into the balls?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you're just gonna match, the rail you're putting will match what's there?
It should.
So where does it end? Because it's not gonna, what's it gonna attach to at the top?
Well, we're going to have to attach it to the center. If you look at this picture, at the top, it's attached to the top stair. It's
Yeah.
just screwed in directly.
Okay.
Okay, now, once we get this, if my measurements were good, we should be able to come to the center and attach it in the same spot, and the doors should clear. We should be able to open both doors fully with it attached to the edge.
So that's your objective, is to put something here that the doors can open.
In the middle.
In the middle, right.
That's correct.
Okay, does anyone have any further questions or comments? If not, is there a motion with regard to the application?
I move we accept it as presented.
I'll second.
All right, roll call.
Mrs. Hartshorn?
Aye.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
And Mr. Geisler?
Aye. All right, thank you very much.
It's a necessary repair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is necessary.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be happy with it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's gonna look good.
Across the street at St. Thomas, we have a center rail, and it's used all the time. I mean, I'm surprised that you, I'm sure you need this, you know.
Well, it's oddly enough, those rails have been as they are now for a long time, but it's only lately that we've noticed
Mhm.
coming close
Almost,
to
yeah.
falling.
Yeah. Well, good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, let's just jump out at, sir, I think you had a comment or observation or question?
Yeah.
And if you just introduce yourself and give us your
Sure.
address?
Kenton Thompson, I'm at 301 Valley Street Northeast. Several months ago, the board had approved a request for an addition onto our house for garage.
Yes.
And we are in the throes of construction right now, and one of the things that you had requested was for the garage doors themselves to be wood. garage doors. And the problem we're having is trying to source those.
Oh,
So our contractor is, checked with, his garage door, distributors and, various building supply, companies. And the problem is nobody makes wood garage doors anymore. So, I mean, the only option we've been able to even come up with is basically to have custom-made doors, and the closest places we've been able to find aren't even in the state.
gosh.
So it's kind of problematic trying to, find a reasonable solution, So I was trying to see if you could give me some guidance or provide, some way forward that might be a little less problematic than, trying to find, some artisan craftsperson to fabricate a couple of doors, because they're gonna be extraordinarily expensive.
What do our guidelines say about garage doors? Do they address that?
They do, I think they do require them to be wooden, but,
And
I
these
guess-
doors don't face the street.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
ask,
they're not
which
visible
street
from
do
the
they
front of the
Can you pull up a
house.
picture of your house, just so we
Yeah.
could
Do
sort
they
of?
face Valley or they face the side street?
They face the side,
Side.
and the garage is behind the house such that, I mean, you can't see
They're
the garage
back.
doors, even if you're coming down Valley,
Mhm.
looking kind of from the side, you can't see it.
Mhm.
Because, those doors will be perpendicular to Valley, so
can you tell me the address one more time?
301.
Do
Valley
you,
Street
has
Northeast.
your contractor given you any kind of options, pictures and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, really the best option that he came up with was some steel doors that have a faux wood finish, and he's
Mhm.
installed the same type of doors over in Bristol. And, yeah,
Is
so
that-
like, this angle from Valley Street, this would be the side of the garage.
The side.
So all you would see, we've got a wooden entrance door from that side
Mhm.
that actually was an old door from the house, from the side of the
Mhm.
house that was replaced with double doors, I don't know how many years ago. And then a couple of wood frame windows that we had specially ordered. So, I mean, we've been able to source all the other, components, wood siding, wood frame windows. But these doors are, really the one thing we can't find a source for.
How healthy are those trees? Are they
Well,
any, okay.
I mean, they're older trees. They've got, some branches that, I don't know, look a little problematic to me. I did have an arborist out there about a year and a half ago, and he took a look at them and, said he felt that they were, still healthy trees, so.
So does the garage doors are facing the side street around
Yeah,
there?
they're
On
kind
the
of
other side?
behind, right now, the driveway goes around the back of the house,
Uh-huh.
and, so there's an entrance on the Tanner Street side, and then there's an entrance on the Valley Street side. So the entrance to the garage would be off of Tanner, going behind the house.
Do you remember what month you came?
I think it was maybe August, September.
Last, in 22?
Yes.
So will both garage doors be fully visible from Tanner, you think?
Yeah, they would be once you get down Tanner a little
Yeah,
ways,
right.
And actually, I mean, the district ends with, with our lot. I mean, behind our house is not the historic
Right.
district.
Right. Well, I'm sure it's a conundrum to work this out, but, I mean, I think what we're going to have to see are photographs. Do you think that would be possible? As
Yeah.
much if the contractor can get something that really
Yeah,
looks
Right.
like
Made
wood.
material sample?
Yeah, and actually, we do have a material sample of it, so it's a textured
Yeah.
steel. That's a wood finish, that's kind of an oak wood finish, that's the same type of finish as the
So
doors.
stained, not painted, or what's the final finish?
I don't know, like, what what the finish is itself.
I mean, are you planning to paint these or stain them?
No, they come.
They
to
come
the-
already
they come to the
done.
factory
That was my
already
question.
done.
Okay,
Yeah,
so they're, what color are they?
They're a dark wood color.
So they're
I mean,
wood,
pretty
okay.
similar to the.
So they look
emblem
like
on-
wood?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you didn't go up there and touch those doors, and like knock on them, you couldn't tell they weren't wood.
Oh, okay.
Well, it sounds like that's something we could live with. I
Yeah.
guess we
Yeah.
just need to
Yeah.
see the.
I think
Yeah.
we probably do need to see as much detail as we
Sure.
can, but it's understandable what you're
Yeah.
trying to do. And it is off the main street, and it is,
On
Right.
the edge of the
Right.
district?
but it looks, yes, but it looks
Is-
like it's probably
it?
clearly visible.
Is this it?
Yes,
Okay.
So is it 2 doors or 1?
it's two single doors.
Yeah.
Is what we're putting in.
Right.
Yeah, the original, architect rendering was
Mhm.
a single double door, but, we discussed that when we were going through the,
This.
Okay, so
application
that,
process.
those doors face Tanner Street?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I just was asking about the trees to see if the trees were hiding any of the view. You know.
But
Oh.
that's from Valley.
Yeah, but for Valley, you can't see those
Okay.
doors at all,
Yeah.
because, the house blocks it, they're, as you're going down Valley Street, those doors, you just got a
wouldn't see
side view, and they're inset, from
Yeah.
I mean, I think we
the
could,
base of
And
the
forgive me
garage.
for not remembering, but is the garage a new construction?
Yes,
Okay, so this is not a part of the original house.
right, yeah,
Anyway,
it's
okay.
it's a completely new
Okay.
addition.
And what do our guidelines say?
Sure, so, it says, original doors should be preserved, maintained, and repaired as needed, adhering to the original design features and using original materials to the greatest extent possible.
Is that for doors or garage?
It
doors?
says garage, carriage
okay.
houses, and outbuildings, so
Okay.
it doesn't really
It doesn't
get
say anything about new
into.
construction?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, well, if you could bring us a sample so we can see what you're talking about, it sounds like that would probably be
Yeah.
I
a
mean, I don't,
solution.
yeah, I think that would be the easiest way to do
Right.
it. Unless you're in a real rush, but,
No, I mean, for right now, these doors are gonna hold up getting this thing finished, so.
I think we'd be happy to have a call meeting.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you can get it.
Don't we
if
do
you
this
wa-
all the time?
Yeah, we do this all the time. If you can get them sooner than the next meeting, just alert
Yeah.
them and we can, if you give them a week, I guess we can
Right.
post it
Okay.
and show up.
Actually, I apologize, it does say solid paneled doors. Well, it says either solid paneled doors or those with windows should be used for garages. Doors of vinyl, aluminum, or steel should not be used.
So it says, this puts us in a pickle,
Mhm.
but based on the other extenuating circumstances, I think we definitely
I think this
would
is
try to
gonna
help-
come up
try to
more
do
and
Right,
more.
this.
and I guess, my
Yeah.
thought was, and again, I know you're trying to, maintain consistency in application of the standards, but, since these doors are in the back of the house and not
Yes.
visible
Yeah.
from the street, from the front, that, it doesn't present a visual, impairment of, continuity, in the historic
Right.
district.
of the house itself.
Yeah, the thing that we run into all the time, though, is anytime somebody wants to do something, and we're not approving it, the first thing to do is go around town and find examples of where we
Yeah.
approved it before.
Well, and really, you could do that right now. You
Yeah.
can go down Valley
Right.
Street, you can find other garage
Right.
doors that aren't wooden doors.
Right.
So because,
But it sounds like that, if you can't source wooden doors anymore, we're gonna have to adapt anyway, or do something.
Yeah, in fact, we were
but,
thinking
I
about making
would
some
be happy
changes.
to send you the
Okay.
photos and provide the materials.
Okay,
as
if you'll
well.
do that, then
You'll
we
do
can.
that. That'll
then
help
we
us
can
out.
address it.
But I do think, and again, we're trying to make this look as, as similar to the rest of the construction as possible.
Right, we appreciate that.
So, we've kind of gone to, extra links and cost to deal
Right.
with the other materials, but this is just one we haven't found a solution for. And, I think you'll be satisfied with, the look.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as far back as it is, our goal would be for it to, from the observer at the street level,
Well,
to be
in the
able to have
meantime,
it look
we
like
could,
wood. Yeah.
one of us or two of us go down and look at it too,
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
that's fine, yeah.
Is it there?
I mean, the garage is there, but not.
Yeah, the garage is there, but the doors.
Not the doors,
yeah,
no. You know, but we're, you know, maybe
Yeah.
3/4 of the way through. the
Well, we have
construction.
looked at the garage, and so, and we'd be glad to look at that material too. That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Get that to
Thank
us
you
when
very
you're
much.
finished.
Thank you.
All right, Thank you.
And if you can turn it into the office so we can get you on the agenda.
Okay.
And don't just bring it to the next meeting for public
Yeah.
comment, and then we can get you on the agenda and have them see it ahead of time.
Whose office?
Just downstairs,
Okay.
in the planning
Right,
office.
like where Rick's office is
Mhm,
and stuff
yeah,
down there?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's been out there several times with various inspections and approvals, so he's
Sounds
he's
good.
very familiar with it.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is, on old business matters on the agenda, HPRB organizational discussion. What is that?
Well, you all need to pick a president and a vice president, but we also have, obviously, we have a new member, Dwayne Johnson, will be joining your group, so that
Dwayne
might be, Dwayne Anderson, sorry. Next, that might be the next meeting that you would want to do that. And then, also, we have many of you are ending your terms in 2023. And so I guess I wanted to make sure who was staying, because it's happening in March.
This
And I-
upcoming March?
Who's ending?
I think Byram's in March.
Byram, you're
March.
ending
I
completely.
thought he
I
had-
thought it was later than the
I
year,
thought it
but
was later,
anyway.
too.
And then,
That's what mine.
and then you both, I think, are both done in 2023 as well, so.
Both of us, Betsy too?
Betsy couldn't be, she just.
Betsy
couldn't-
could.
Christie?
October.
Christie, you're in October.
Yeah, but Betsy's
Okay.
not.
Betsy's not even finished her first term.
Well, I haven't either.
Hmm.
I'll have to look at mine.
Well, you're eligible for 2 terms in a
Okay.
row.
Okay. Yeah, this was my first.
Are you, is
Oh.
this finishing
This is
your
my second term.
term?
So,
But
I mean,
thought
that-
I was later in the year, but maybe not.
I thought he was.
So that also brings up, like, is that what we want to do, is only have 2 terms, or do we want to change the bylaws for people to stay on longer? I don't, that's kind of where my whole organizational discussion, I thought, might come tonight, and see what you all were thinking. It goes quickly,
I mean,
but-
it is important to see the finished product of what we've started.
It would be something the town council would have to change, wouldn't it?
Mhm. I think so.
Yeah, but I just, that's what the question tonight is, how comfortable you all are. You're such a great group that it's hard to really imagine other people. I don't know if there's other people who are hoping to get on that haven't. We don't get a lot of public participation other than people who attend for their own projects.
Well, I think it is difficult to get, members on this board that meet the criteria and have the interest in, first you have to have the interest, and then you have to have the, Betsy and I talked about this, we need constant education, and it's an important role, so, I mean, I'm normally in favor of, limited terms, but I would like to see them extended. I think that would be a good thing. I recognize there's counter arguments to that, though.
Or at least the ability to apply again, as in, like, if your term ended and they advertise it and you apply again and nobody else applies,
be
then
considered.
that you could still be considered, I guess, is the key thing in my mind.
So right now, I think
I like that.
we're allowed to serve 2 terms, and then you have to go off. There's not any set amount of time you have to go off, then you can come back on when a position becomes available. So that's how it's been. So I guess the issue would be, do we want to extend that to 3 terms, or do we want to, something along the lines of you can do 2 terms, but if no one applies, then.
Right, something along those lines is what I was thinking.
Is there some other, and I don't know if this would be appropriate or not, but I feel like to be on this board, you should be a property owner in historic.
Yeah, the bylaws, which I can pull up here, do
I
have
think that's
a few
important
things.
also. I know right now, I think we're allowed to have, you just have to be a resident of the town, right?
Mhm.
Let's see what it says. Qualification of membership. all members must be residents and qualified voters of the town.
And this is
The
three.
town council may, in its sole discretion, appoint any non-resident of the town or waive the requirement that three, it's kind of a weird,
Yeah.
that three of the members own property, live, or have vested financial interest in the historic district. If that person is otherwise qualified under these bylaws and the town council feels that the benefits of having such a member would further the interest of historic preservation within the town, provided that the member holds or is employed by a person or firm holding a current business license issued by the town. That is, I don't know who
Horrible.
wrote it, so I'm not gonna say anything on the record, but.
What did you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody could have a vested financial interest in the
Yeah.
town of Abingdon.
So.
Um,
It says generally members shall have a demonstrated interest, competence, or knowledge in historic preservation, architecture, and/or site design, so.
that's the hard thing to
Yeah.
have.
Yes.
And
then
I
we
agree
do
with
are
Christie. I think
required
it-
to
yeah,
have an architect as well.
I think we
correct?
are
Yeah.
You think we are what?
required to have an architect.
We are, I know that. That's the only.
So we have a town council member and an architect,
Yeah.
and then
Three
three
people,
property
yeah.
owners.
And three of the five have to be property owners.
And that's pretty much what we have, so.
Yeah, 3 of the 5 shall own property, live, or have a vested financial interest in the
I
historic
like
district.
the idea of 3 terms. I don't know because I don't serve on other boards.
I
I
don't
mean,
either.
zoning boards and things like that.
Mhm.
But I'm sure all of them require specialized knowledge of things and willingness to be educated about things, but this one certainly does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no officer elected in accordance shall serve more than 2 consecutive 1-year terms in the same office. So that's kind of weird. I think they're saying chairman versus vice chairman.
Oh, you can serve only 2 consecutive terms as chair?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Now
That's a
Jeff
shame.
did it for longer than that, I'm sure.
I did it
Okay.
too.
A period of 12 months must pass prior to the election of a member to an office previously held for 2 consecutive terms. So,
This is protecting these bylaws.
yeah, and again, that's kind of where, as I was reading it, I thought,
Hmm.
who is it protecting? Or, do we really have...
They're not beating down the doors to get on this.
Yeah, so all members shall serve a 3-year term and shall serve until their respective successors are appointed. If at any time all 5 positions are vacant, okay, that wouldn't happen. Shall be appointed for 3 staggered terms, 1 member to serve for 1 year, 2 members to serve for 2, and 2 members to serve for 3. Members may serve up to 2 consecutive full terms.
So that means I can stay on, and Betsy can stay on.
Mhm.
So Byram.
As long as you both want to, which was kind of a part of my
Yeah,
question tonight
no,
as
I
well.
do. Yeah, I don't think
Um,
we're finished.
Okay, good.
Well, it really is to the point of staying longer. It takes a little while to get your feet under you. on-
Yeah,
on
I mean,
this.
I was really the newbie that came on here, because you guys had all been on it before, and I've learned a lot. But I also had a question, and this is a little bit related, because we had that discussion last month with, I can't think of his name, Mike, when he was here,
Mhm.
about, in the future, maybe designating some other areas of town as historic districts. And so going forward, and we don't have to put this in now, I would think if we did that, we would need 1 representative from each of the new districts, maybe. So because who's gonna speak for those people,
Well, Bassett's district is quite small, and we don't,
Oh, he has his own district?
I mean, basically him and the.
There's 7 buildings over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of like
So-
when we were saying I don't know,
Yeah.
behind, like,
So we already have separate districts that
oh,
don't
I
have
didn't realize, I
representatives.
thought we were just the old historic. So
No.
what is his called?
No, I mean, it is, but I'm just
Depot
saying,
Square.
Oh, it's
it's a
Depot
separate
Square.
area,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think we represent the whole thing.
Yeah, okay.
This board, I mean, we should.
Right.
We should represent the whole thing. Well, that's a good thing you bring up.
So it's just discussion tonight. If you all, next meeting, you should have your new member as well as
Mhm.
your other person. So I thought I'd just bring it to your attention. You all can discuss it and figure out if we
Okay.
need to amend them.
So as
Um,
far as nominating a person in charge, then we just trade Byron and Betsy's jobs. That's my vote.
And if you want to do that tonight and vote without your other two members, you could, or you could wait until you get.
Well, that,
Well, if I go off in March, then I shouldn't be in
Right.
anything.
if we do this amendment to these things,
Mhm.
when would we do it, and when would it take place?
Well, I'm guessing that we could probably have language back to you mid-month, and
Mid-month.
then if we could probably get it done by February. There might be.
Yeah. I think Byram is definitely an asset, and I would, anything that we
Keep
can do
him
to
on.
keep him
I agree.
on. I mean, as I said, it's very subtle, because we want to support the ordinance, and the guidelines are there simply to help interpret that ordinance.
Right.
But there are times that we have to deviate from that, and it's a subtle process.
Well, and also, he's so vested in the historic district. with,
Yes.
You know, like.
Well, he's good.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I'll be glad to do it. I can see that, I mean, you know, there could be arguments both ways, but I mean, I would be glad to continue to do it. I mean, it's the only thing
I don't
extra,
think that-
outside of work that I do
Yeah.
anymore, because it's
Yeah,
important.
well, and as you know how important I think it is, and
Mhm.
I'm definitely happy to, if you all can stand me charging in here the last minute. I have a hard time getting out of that building.
Apparently.
So I guess that would be, I guess our consensus is that we're fine with three
Okay.
consecutive terms,
Okay.
but then obviously the decision.
So I
we
guess
have
you
to
take that to the town council
Mhm.
and just see what they.
And hopefully somebody would come along as the support to say why we think it's important.
We'd be happy to do that.
Okay. So yeah, that I can definitely get started on. And then, yes, you decide if you want to elect your officers tonight or wait till you have your.
I will not
We
be
should
here
probably
next
wait
month.
till
I
the
think we
next
should
meeting.
wait.
I'll be,
when we
I
have-
will not
yeah.
be at the next meeting,
Oh,
unless, yeah, I have to go visit a new baby.
Oh,
So-
that's nice.
Not one of mine, but one of my relatives.
That's nice. Not that I'm after that at all, but I do think that there is some value in rotating the chair.
Mhm.
I do too.
Just so that people don't get to thinking that we're trying to create a monarchy.
Right. I think you're definitely, that's definitely the case. So, we could do it tonight, although again, if, I guess you could, if we're gonna just flip, I shouldn't be anything if I'm going to rotate off.
I
Well-
think you could be the vice. No, if you're rotating off, yeah.
Right, see,
Oh,
if I'm
right.
going off
So
in
maybe
March,
you
there's
need
no
to wait.
point
Oh,
making me
yes.
advice.
I'm just assuming that you're not.
Right.
And I
Or
wanna
you-
go on record that I'm not ready to be either one of those positions. I'm not, this is my
Aw.
first term, I mean, I'm still learning a lot.
Well, you all could just continue as you are, and we could try to figure out if we're gonna take this to town
Okay.
council, and then if we could get this to town council in February, then maybe by March, you could
Figure it out.
have your
Yes.
members all here, you'd be
Okay.
back, and then we'd have a decision on
Okay.
this, and so
Okay.
either
Give us
Byron
time-
would
give
be
everything
here,
time
or.
to settle a little bit
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad you brought it
Okay.
up.
How
I know.
about the letter that,
Oh, the letter, yeah.
Yeah.
You all seem to be okay with it, so.
With the
I mean, we all
revisions.
sent our
Mhm.
changes in, I didn't read the
Mhm.
revised letter, I guess.
With the revised letter?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, are you okay with it?
Yeah, so I don't think we need to take a vote, because it's
Okay.
not really a,
Okay,
I mean, it's just more of an administrative thing if you
Yeah.
all are okay with it, so.
okay.
We will have, next month, one of the things that we're gonna do is, I don't know how many of you've heard, but, you know, we had a lot of complaints on Valley about the speed. And so we have been working with one of our engineering consultants to come up with ideas for reducing speed on Valley. So we're gonna have that as a presentation. We are gonna send out letters to all the owners, or all the addresses, on Valley, and invite people to come out to the next meeting, so.
I saw last night that another car on Valley was crashed into there in front of the, old Methodist parsonage.
And one of the ideas is to add actual striped parking on there, because I do think it does create a difference, but.
We could revive our Drive 25 in Old Abington campaign. You seen those stickers?
Yeah, the funny thing is, when we actually had the consultants look at how many 25-mile-an-hour signs are on Valley,
Uh-huh.
there's like 35 of them on Valley, 25, like if you look at both
Yeah.
sides,
Wow.
it is a lot, so,
So the
Yeah.
enforcement is the thing.
yeah. So we'll have that at the next meeting. So we might actually wait to send out the welcome to the neighborhood letter
Oh,
until
okay.
the meeting after,
Yeah.
just to
Not
make
to
sure that,
overwhelm
yeah, it's like,
anybody.
oh, you're getting a letter every week from the town.
Mhm.
So, just so you all know.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then we have the review of the draft language for temporary signage and outdoor lighting.
Yeah, and so, we've put together some draft language here. I don't know if you all wanna go through it tonight or take it with you and come back ready to look at it. I'm not sure, what position you're in, but we added, language for temporary / minor signage, outdoor temporary lighting, and then, Gabe also added staircase railings because while we have the porch, railings, we actually don't have anything like tonight. We didn't really have any guidance on, like staircases, and we have quite a few of those, so. So yeah, it's really up to you what you would like to do.
I did have one word that I wanted to change.
On this?
Yeah, just with, all signage within the Old and Historic District, instead of can, I thought maybe the word must would be there. Must be 4 feet square. or
I had a
less.
question about that also. So, I mean, already, we, so including this would
Mhm.
extend the 4 square feet requirement to what we're apparently defining minor signs as signs that, sort of sandwich board signs that people put out during the day, but they take back in at the end of the
Mhm.
day. And so, some of those I've seen in town are larger than 4 square feet. And I think we might want to think carefully about that because, our businesses, the complaint we get constantly is, that sign's not big enough for me to attract customers.
Mhm.
That's not big enough for them to see what my business is. And so some of them have dealt with that by putting out these sandwich boards, but then they take them up at the end of the day, and they're not affixed to anything. They're not really affecting permanently anything in the historic district. And if we enact this, we're gonna take that away from them also.
Well,
And
I kind of disagree with that.
well, that's fine, but I'm just saying, right now, they're able to meet that requirement
Right.
without having, they're able to deal with it without too much trouble, but we're adding this language would change that.
I feel like, in my opinion, that the sandwich boards, to me, seem to be a workaround for our required signs. And that, people are sort of saying, well, I'm gonna have this little sign, but then I'm gonna put this other sign up every single day, 365 days a year, to advertise my business, and they can look a little junky. And I don't know how effective they are. Do the owners of the businesses feel like that brings in more business to them? Or, I don't know.
I think,
Because they take up sidewalk space too, which,
And they definitely have to be, our code enforcement officer does go out, and they do have to still leave the ADA accessible space. So,
Okay.
yeah.
well, I guess we're just talking about this tonight anyway, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds to me like what I'm already hearing is that, coming soon or like banner signs before business starts sounds like it's one thing. Sandwich boards sounds like it's another thing. You may have just sandwich board language, and our real reason for the whole coming soon is just that since we only meet once a month, sometimes a business is ready to advertise
right.
that they're coming soon before they're ready to come in and get a sign permit. So that's kind of where a lot of this stemmed from. And so the temporary sign with the whole idea of 30 days was this idea that, hey, for 30 days prior to you getting in and getting to a meeting, you could post your, coming soon.
is there anything that stops someone from putting up a sign that's just a tiny bit different every 30 days and make it look like a new sign? And so that sign becomes a sort of a permanent temporary sign. Does that ever occur?
Yeah, so we actually in our other sign language that we've been working on with the town council, put in there that, temporary signage cannot can only be 30 days once a quarter, essentially.
Oh, okay, and that's
Yeah,
not in here?
no, that's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look and see how many
Sandwich boards.
sandwich boards there are and how many businesses we're gonna be affecting with
Sure.
this.
I like that idea, just to check it
Yeah.
out.
And I mean, the sandwich boards could be the sandwich boards in general are usually, I think, I would say sandwich board signs probably more along the lines of 6 square feet each side, because they're probably about 3,
They
they're,
probably have to be
Yeah.
substantial.
so.
Yeah, well, we have a thriving historic district with a lot of businesses in it. and
Right.
They have to compete with the strip malls in the
Mhm.
different areas.
Right.
And that's one thing that really sets Abington apart is that we do have a thriving, alive district that has businesses and just don't wanna.
Well, I just feel like, I'm thinking of this one particular business that, we were really pretty strict on this person for signage, advertising different things that he was selling on the side of the building, the front of the building, and then there's also that, has a sandwich board.
Well, maybe we
and
should.
a lot of signs on
Maybe
that
we
board.
should, regulate how the sandwich board looks and the materials and that kind of thing, as opposed to taking it away from businesses.
Do other,
Cause I can think of some that are very nice,
And some
and
that
I
are
can think
just-
that are not. So if it,
That's a good idea.
if that's the issue, maybe that would be a better approach.
some of them just look like they're made from like letters you buy in a
Yeah.
Target or something. It's
Some are
like-
bad, some are great, yeah.
Mhm. And you definitely could require a COA for sandwich board signs. Right now, we've just, as you all know, done nothing about them, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So we could maybe.
So maybe we'll bring this up at
Sure.
our next
Yeah.
meeting
Yeah,
also.
give us a little thought.
And then the outdoor temporary lighting also, we had kind of talked about it last
Yeah.
time. This again puts some language into, so you all can kind of start thinking about it. Again, we can come back next time with,
And
once
maybe
you've had
like where you
comments.
have lighting arranged in strange angles, maybe we could come up with a different word, 'cause
Mhm.
strange kinda, I don't know what the definition of that would be.
I think that was last time we were talking about, some people were okay with the lights crossed, and other
Right.
people wanted them perpendicular or parallel, so.
Yeah, didn't we have like where they had to be attached
Lighting
to the
arranged in
building?
angles that we don't like.
Right, exactly.
Are not
Right.
acceptable.
That's a tough one for us to put into the code. Oh.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Well, I was curious as to what lighting is associated with special events. What is that?
Well, I mean, it just,
Like
so I
wedding
think.
receptions or-
Yeah, if
Oh,
there
no,
was
I'm just
anything
curious. I
that,
don't-
mm-hmm.
I mean, if you drive down Main Street at 8:00 p.m.
I mean, I think
Pretty
we'd like
dark.
more lighting, I guess,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
I think we'd love to have a more active lit
Mhm.
downtown at night.
I agree.
So I think if anything, you should encourage it, especially, during the winter months when it feels as if the downtown is closed at 4 o'clock and.
Well, remember when that Peyton brought up about the light pollution? And
Mhm.
I saw that you said, LED, any type of neon is prohibited, but did we want to address anything about?
Downward facing and hooded and all
Uh-huh.
that. Yeah, I mean, I think this was more for the strings of lights, which
Okay.
tend to not be, like shielded and,
They're just bare bulbs.
Mm-hmm. But, again, we can really go anywhere that we want.
Well, why don't we work on these and everybody thoroughly look at them and then we'll
Yeah.
address them at our next meeting.
And then the last topic there is the staircase railing, so, Gabe indicated that there just really isn't anything when it comes to staircases, so.
And I guess, with the one that we approved tonight,
Mhm.
it actually is going to be attached to part of the historic
Mhm.
structure.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we should include that because
Yeah.
I don't know how you can have rails in without attaching it to
Mhm.
part of the structure.
Oh, I think where did he get that?
That-
Did he read that somewhere else?
He must have, yeah.
Because I'm surprised, because I agree with you. Where would it be attached?
I think he
Yeah.
was thinking more like along a wall where you could possibly
Oh.
tear it out, not like this, which are
Okay.
actually attached to the staircase, so.
Yeah, I think it would always have to be almost always attached to the original building.
Mhm.
To the original building, right.
But yeah, we'll,
I
this
don't
is
think we
kind of
should
just.
have new buildings must be ADA compliant. I mean, everything has to be.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
no point to signal that out. All right, is there anything else we need to take up tonight?
Nope.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
I second that.
roll call?
All right, Mrs. Hartshorn?
Aye.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
And Mr. Geisler?
Aye.
All right,
All right.
thank you.